Welcome back to Coding Depth. In today's video, we will see what is Agentic AI. So before learning what is Agentic AI, first we need to see what is Gen AI. So I'm sure you might have used tools like ChatGPT, which uses Gen AI under the hood. So we will give an input. So that given input that will be passed to LLM or diffusion models. LLMs will be used in case of text, and diffusion models will be used in case of image generation or audio generation or video generation. So we have the input that is passed to the LLM and it will produce an output. You might also give like system prompts or context to the LLM. Let us say you want to build a helpful bot for cricket trivia. Then in here you will pass like you are a helpful cricket assistant bot. You should answer all the questions related to cricket. You should not answer anything else. So that is what a system prompt or context means. Input is the user query, then it will output the answers. So input can be text, image, or even voice. Similarly, based on the purpose of this Gen AI, it can produce text, image, or audio, or video. For the purpose of this video, we'll not be going into the details of LLM or diffusion model works. You can see it as a black box. You can understand like this. It learns the statistical relationship between the words, pixels, or sound waves, and then it predicts what comes next based on the massive data it is trained on. So the work of Gen AI ends here. Like it is a reactive thing. It just gives outputs for the input. So this is how ChatGPT was when it was initially launched. You could ask a question based on the training data; it will give you an answer. There is no ability to give a system prompt or make it use the internet or read some file, but it evolved further to use some tools. Let's say I have a cricket trivia bot. I'll ask what is umpire's call. That will be fed it to LLM. I would have some system prompt saying you are an useful cricket trivia bot, so that it will output information only regarding cricket. You don't have to mention cricket in every input. So it need not search internet and everything. So it can just output what is umpire's call because it will be already fed with the information from the internet. It doesn't have to search the internet. The next evolution of LLM was LLM with tool usage. You might remember as ChatGPT evolved, it was able to use internet. If you give some input to LLM, it can make calls to internet or search APIs and get the answers, and it could give you the up to date info. So how this is done is it is done using a technology called RAG, which means retrieval augmented generation. It can retrieve data from internet, or it can retrieve from a input file like PDF, Excel, or even your internal database. We'll not be going in detail to RAG. So an example of this would be, let me ask who won the Asia Cup game between UAE and India. So, of course, the LLM will not have information about that. It will make use of, let us say, Bing search or DuckDuckGo or SERP API or any other internet search API for that matter, and it will get the information from that. It will, of course, format the output, and it will output India won the game between UAE and India, and this was the score. Next evolution was AI agents. So AI agents will handle bit more advanced use cases. It is not like just a question and answer bot or just fetching the information from the internet and displaying. It will take action on your behalf. Let us see an example. You want to book a hotel. I say book a hotel in Manali for a night of stay on next Saturday. So this will be fed into the LLM, and this will make use of different tools. Let us say I want to make an API call. I have my aggregator application like Make My Trip or Is My Trip. It will make API call to that and it will fetch all the details, what are all the available hotels in Manali for next Saturday. It will also need to calculate when is next Saturday, what is the date and the location and everything, and it will needs to pass into the API and then get the details. It can ask for a human confirmation in between, like do you want to confirm this, or it can go ahead and directly book also. Again, for booking, it will make tool usage like calling make my trip or booking.com API, and the output is an action, that is hotel is booked. It is not just outputting the list of hotels and everything. It has to perform an action. So AI agent will perform an action like hotel booked. Another example is like scheduling a meeting. I'll say schedule a meeting with team at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Of course, your AI agent needs to have information like what is the team distribution list and access to email clients like, let us say, Outlook or Gmail or Google Calendar, whatever it is. So output of this will be an action, that is meeting is scheduled. In between, it can ask confirmation if the message draft or the email agenda is fine. It can ask for agenda if that is not given in the first step. So that is how AI agents work. Now coming to agentic AI. So let us first see the definition of agentic AI. Agentic AI consists of one or more agents which can perform a series of autonomous tasks or workflows and take decisions to achieve a common goal. To iterate, agentic AI consists of one or more agents which can perform a series of autonomous tasks or workflows and take decisions to achieve a common goal. So let us break this definition down. The key terms here are one or more agents, it can perform a series of autonomous tasks, and it can take decisions, and it will work for a common goal. Here, the common goal can be anything like a travel agent, an app builder, or a personal assistant. And coming to one or more agents, your agentic AI can have one agent or it can use more agents. It can communicate between the agents. It can use different tools. So that is straightforward. And it can perform a series of autonomous tasks. So let us understand what is autonomy. So autonomous means it is the ability to work or act independently without needing control or guidance from others. To iterate, autonomy means ability to work or act independently without needing control or guidance from others. What exactly that means? That means you don't need any external interference to control the agent. It will work on itself. Let us say an example will be self-driving cars. So this agentic AI or whatever buzzword that is coming these days, right? It was already existing, but now they are coining different terms like AI agents, agentic AI, and all those stuff. And agentic AI need not be fully autonomous. There can be human intervention in between. It can ask for human input. Also, we will see with our example how this agentic AI framework can take decisions. So, the example I want to go with is AI powered travel agent. It will plan everything. It will book the flights and hotels and everything. It will make the payments. And finally, it will give you the total plan. So, my input will be I want to plan a vacation in Europe for a period of 2 weeks in April 2026. So, this is how the workflow will look like. First, my agentic AI will understand the user preferences. I'll have preferences like what is the budget, what kind of transport I prefer, as well as accommodation preferences. I may like to stay, let's say, 3-star and above hotels, or I would like to stay in Airbnb or homestays. So, based on the preference, it needs to plan. The second step would be research the options. So, for the given date and the duration in the input, it needs to what are all the different options that is available. Like it needs to look for available hotels and to commute between hotels and local destinations. It needs to look for local transport options. So it can make calls to aggregators like Make My Trip or direct calls to airline APIs. Then it can call something like booking or Airbnb to get the list of hotels. For local transport options, it can look for metro or Uber or subway or anything. Next step is to generate itinerary option. So it will generate, let's say, two to three options for user. So user can choose from one to three option. Let's say user did not like any of the option. User can say I did not like, and it can go back and do the research again and come back and give more options to the user. Or let us say user says I like, I'll go with the option 2. Then you can optimize and finalize the itinerary. So you can ask the user if you have any modification that needs to be done to the selected plan. I can say to incorporate user modifications. Let us say user says I want to keep second day afternoon as free. Then it can go back and update the plan and come back and ask if this is fine, or ask the user if you want to, if say something was already planned on the second day afternoon, ask the user if you want to adjust it to somewhere or just remove that. So based on the user input, it can again update this plan. So once the plan is confirmed, right, it can go ahead and make the bookings. So it should be able to automatically book hotels and flights. So it can again make calls to booking.com or make my trip or any flight aggregator APIs and make the bookings. So while making the bookings, right, let us say the booking has failed or the booking.com API is down. Then it should not directly come and say to user I couldn't book. It has to have some fallback. Let us say booking.com has failed. Then maybe search in Agoda and see if it has similar hotels or the same hotel listed and book that. And if everything fails right, it can ask the user for human intervention what to do. It shouldn't ask the user in the first fail itself. It should retry the booking. If that is fails, it needs to go for the failover mechanism. What are all the backup options you have? If everything fails, then it can go and ask the user what to do. Next is manage payments. So we can have the agent to handle payment securely or even have human intervention. Let us say you are concerned about the payment and you don't want the tool to do the payment automatically, you want to do it manually. So you can configure to have it from the user to do the payment. The final step would be to generate the travel documents. So it can save all the documents to, let us say, Google Drive or send an email with the attachments. Then it can prepare a travel checklist, like what are all the documents required, such as passport, visa. It can also add schedule to your calendar for those 2 weeks of trip. And also, right, before automatically booking the flights, it can also check like whether your documents are valid, like if your passport is valid. Some regions or countries will have restriction like on the date of arrival, if your passport does not have certain validity like 6 months validity, then you will not be able to enter the country. So it can do such checks and proactively inform the user that your passport is expiring soon. Do you still want to continue booking? If the user says yes, then again one more proactive step it can do is add reminder to renew passport. So those are all the different steps in AI powered travel agent workflow. So first it needs to understand the preferences, then it needs to research different options and provide the user with different options. User can ask it to provide more options or modify the existing option. And after all the modifications are done, it can go ahead and make the bookings and manage the payments or ask the user to do the payment. And finally, it will generate the travel documents and add the scheduled calendar. So you can see, right, it's complex step. It involves multiple agents, multiple tool usage. That is why it is called agentic AI. Hope now the definition is clear. It consists of one or more agents. In our step, different agents like to create the plan, to book the hotel or flights, another agent to make the payments, and finally another agent to add the schedule to the calendar. So it can perform a series of autonomous tasks. So if you provide all the information correctly in the first step, it can go ahead and without much human intervention, it can do all the bookings. And it can also take decisions like based on the user input here, right? If I say I want more option, it will not directly go ahead and do the booking. It will give you with more options. In the upcoming few videos, we will see how we can actually implement this, whether it has to go back or it will go forward. Now let us see some examples of tools which use agentic AI. So if you consider the domain of code generation, right, we can consider Cursor, Cloud Desktop, or tools like Bolt Lot New or Lovable or Replit. So this is how I was using Cursor the other day. I was trying to edit the video and it was taking long time to trim the video. So I thought I'll create a workflow where I will automate the video editing process to an extent. Actually, this saves me 50% of the time while editing the video. So I already had this video trimmer. So for this, I wanted to add audio enhancement capability. So I was manually editing the audio in Audacity. So I wanted to automate that. So I asked Cursor to add additional step to add Audacity macro. So what it did, right? It came up with a plan. So as you can see, right, it came up with a to-do list. That is how even human would do this task, right? So this is a command line tool. So first it needs to add an option in the command line argument. Then it needs to create a file to extract audio from video. It's not like directly it can edit the video, right? First it needs to extract the audio. Then it needs to create a function to run the Audacity macros. Then it needs to add that audio back to the video. So it needs to have a function for that. Then it needs to integrate everything together. And finally, it needs to handle the error. So this ability to come up with the step using the reasoning capability of LLM is called as chain of thought reasoning. So as you can see, first it will complete the first step like adding the argument. Then after that is done, it will go and perform further step. As you can see, once it is done, it will strike off what is done so that it can focus on the next task in hand. The next example for agentic AI will be tools like Lovable. So I was trying out Lovable last week. So as you can see, I have given a prompt to build a habit tracker. So what it has done is, first it thought and prepared the plan. It did not directly jump into code. So it prepared the plan, what is the design inspiration, what are all the features required, all the steps it will create, then only it will execute all these steps. I'll try to make review videos on each of these tools in the future. Now let us see what are all the different tools that we can use to build this agentic AI. We can call them as tools or frameworks. First we will see frameworks. While using frameworks, we will have to code. So we have frameworks like Agno, LangGraph, AutoGen, 2AI, and so on. We also have no-code tools like N8N, Zapier, Make, and so on. Again, I'll try to make a detailed video on each of these. To summarize, this is how it evolved. First, it was Gen AI, then LLM with tool usage, then came AI agents, then using AI agent, we have agentic AI. We might have something else tomorrow, we don't know. So this is how it looks like. We will have Gen AI in the inside. AI agents can use both Gen AI as well as tools like API calls or database or even reading PDF or referring to internet. So AI agent can perform an action for us, and we can have multiple agents communicating to each other, and they can use different tools to perform an autonomous common goal that we call it as agentic AI. So that's it about agentic AI. I know it has been a long one. If you have watched till now, please consider subscribing to the channel. Going forward, I'll be publishing more AI related videos in this channel. See you in the next one.